As you know, if you've watched this channel over the past couple of weeks, we had to evacuate our place. We're in the yellow zone near the border with Thailand and Cambodia, and during that evacuation I think we did quite well. We managed to get out of the house within 7 minutes because we were somewhat prepared the day before, but it has made me review and look at our evacuation procedure going forward. I think that anybody that's living near any kind of potential danger area, maybe a volcano, maybe a tsunami area, an earthquake area, maybe even somewhere where there's some civil unrest, should actually have some preparations in place for them and their family should they need to quickly get out of there. Now, long-term followers of the channel know that I was getting into a bit of a prepping journey here, but I was really prepping for something like an AI issue, a global financial crisis, something like that, where you were kind of stuck at home, perhaps another COVID incident. After what happened with COVID, that kind of changed me a lot. It changed the way I thought about things, it changed the way I thought about the world and what could happen. And so I've always found it prudent, as part of the journey here, as part of building this here, as part of doing what we're doing here, I found it prudent to prepare for something like that in the future. And I've learnt a lot through what happened, some of the things where we were underprepared, some of the things we could have done differently, and some of the things that we'll make next time, hopefully next time never comes, but more efficient and well planned. And I know some of you that think it's over the top. Some of you that are parents won't think it's over the top, especially if you're dads. As a dad, your job is to protect and provide for the family. It isn't to sit around on your arse waiting for something to happen and then rushing around like a headless chicken then. It is to be prepared in advance. This time, I'm not going to sit around and just say, well, all that's over, let me just get on with my life. I'm going to think, okay, if something else happens, how can we shave that 7 minutes down to 3 minutes and make sure all the family know what to do in the situation if it comes about, so people are not like running around screaming like, what do we do? It's better to everybody knows the drill, everybody knows where to come, and there are certain preparations that I'm making right now to make things faster. And you might find it interesting if you live in one of these areas, or you live in an area where a go bag is going to be important. As I've said, there are two modes of preparation for me. One is prepping the house to be energy independent, is to filter our own water, is to have food reserves and supplies. And the other one now, since learning this lesson of the border conflict, is about how do you get out fast. So let's take a look at some of the things that I'm going to do differently this time, and hopefully it's insightful for you. Now, for those that have spent any serious amount of time in rural Thailand, you know that there's often loud bangs here. When somebody passes away, 3 shots are fired into the air, so we really wouldn't be bothered about that, and we wouldn't expect any kind of loud, short bangs like that to be worrying at all. More so if what happened last time, the ground was to shake. I mean, you know it when you hear it. You know the difference between something that is serious and something that is just part of the day-to-day life here. Now, what we have here as well, though, is an alarm system. And so if we get an alert, if I hear an alert, if there is a loud bang, I will initiate the alarm, and that will signal to people that it's time to move. And that alarm can be heard all around the farm. That alarm system was also installed for emergencies, so it alerts Puyai Ban, who's not too many doors down from us, Damo's uncles, and the neighbours. This alarm was actually fitted before the border issue, and it has been part of our safety plan for the family, along with the camera systems around the farm. I think in total we have 11 cameras that cover the whole farm. Backup power can never hurt as well. This is a power station. It's a cheaper one that I bought. It has all of your plugs in here, USB and whatnot. Obviously it's fully charged. To be honest, it's not very good. It will hold power and it's a good backup battery, but it isn't much different to the smaller handheld ones. I think I will upgrade this to maybe a Jackery, something more substantial that can also be charged by solar. But it's not a bad piece of equipment to have if you're going to need power to charge things like phones, or any small electronics that you might want to run, say a fan outside. And just before we continue with today's breakdown of the perfect go bag in evacuation situations, I'd just like to mention the sponsors of today's vlog, Surfshark VPN. I know many of you have downloaded and use Surfshark VPN since I've started mentioning it on the channel, but just as a reminder, Surfshark VPN is going to help protect your privacy online. More than this, it has a number of useful features, in particular in the UK now, where some websites have been limited. I know that my UK audience benefit a lot from the use of a VPN, which can bypass those restrictions and give you access to content that would otherwise be restricted. You also have to make sure when you're browsing online you're not being subject to price discrimination for things like hotels, car rentals and accommodation. Change your location in the top right hand corner and make sure you're getting the best price available on the internet and are not being discriminated against based on the country you're searching from. Don't forget, Surfshark VPN can be used across all of your devices with just one subscription, and if like me you travel a lot and connect to different Wi-Fi's in hotels and airports, Surfshark VPN has a special alert system that can let you know if your Wi-Fi has been compromised, which comes in very useful to make sure that you're protected when connecting to many different Wi-Fi's on your travels while you're moving around. Surfshark have given me a special offer to give to you. It's going to get you 4 months extra. Download the app or go to www.surfshark.com/nakedguru, and that's a money back guarantee. So if it doesn't work out for you, you can get your money back. I know this is going to be very useful for my friends in the UK, so do let me know how you get on. We have upgraded to a truck, which had a lot of advantages, and I did have a full tank of diesel when the evacuation had to take place, so we were ready in that respect. However, just a few small things. My truck was parked the other way around, which means that you have to slowly reverse out, and then you have to be very careful of kind of a dog running out or something like that, or a chicken, and so it's a very slow process to get out. Now I park my car the other way, so I reverse in, which means that I can go out fast forward, and I can see if there's any animals in front of me or not. The next point with the car is, once you put all your cases and important belongings in the back here, it's open to the elements. Just shortly after we evacuated, it rained, and so we didn't have any tarp to put over the top. Now we have one, but we weren't prepared in this way, and so I am going to get a hard cover fitted, which you can lock, and that way you can put everything in there. Some people know that we carried the hammock for Hugo. It was too big, and I was quite conscious of it when I was driving, like always watching it. I don't want to be distracted in that way, and so I'm going to buy a fold down hammock which can pop up and fold down again, and then everything can then be fitted in here, and we'll have a cover that covers for the rain, something we were not prepared for before. I'd packed our bags before the missile hit near our house. Actually, Damo and I were in this room when the missile hit, and we ran to Yai's house, picked up the kids and ran back, and then we got all the stuff. But what I'd done is pack nearly 2 cases full of clothes. What I realize now after going through this is it's too much to lug around. You're not going on holiday. You don't need clothes for like going out and partying or, you know, like nighttime activities. You're really in an emergency situation. So actually you only need maybe 2 or 3 pairs of shorts and 3 t-shirts in my case, and that would have been perfectly fine. What I actually took was 3 times this, and some of the clothes I took, you know, now looking back, it's easy to think I was stupid, but they were clothes I never wore ever. So really, I think what we'll do from now on is, as I keep this metal case packed with all the important stuff, I'm going to just always have 3 t-shirts, 3 shorts that I never wear day to day, just always packed in the go bag. Now I did have prepared medicines and the medical box, and that was this one here, believe it or not, which looks quite big, but if you compare it to like all of our medicines, you're talking like a lot more. These are things like creams, antibiotics, all kinds of different medications. Some of them are supplements. I have a lot of supplements, as you can see here. I'll take things like extra virgin olive oil every day, high grade extra virgin olive oil, and different supplements. However, again, this is way too big. there's a lot of stuff in here that I probably wouldn't use, like activated charcoal. Maybe I'll use it, but not all that amount. What we want to do really is get this medicine box down to a size maybe like this, and then have a separate medicine box already always packed in the metal case, as I already showed you. So, you know, this small go bag case, instead of like carting this big box which is heavy to pick up and then you've got to quickly run to the car with it and then it takes space up in the car, I think it's going to be better to focus on the key medications, antibiotics, things like that, and a first aid kit, perhaps a small first aid kit inside the go bag, taking up a fraction of the space. Also in here I've got spare car keys, so rather than keeping my spare car keys in a jar somewhere, keep them in the go bag. That way if I need them on a day-to-day basis, they're in the go bag, and if I need them in an emergency, say we actually have gone, then it's in the go bag. The other thing I'm going to keep in the go bag from now on is all my insurance documentation. So this is my health insurance, that you actually don't need all this big paperwork. You get a little bit of a card, but I think it's quite useful to have if you're going into a hospital and you know what you're covered for and things like that. And then there is things like irreplaceable paperwork, marriage certificates, degree certificates. I think from now on they're going to be packed in the go bag for the perceivable future. Filming obviously plays a part in our life, but also the technology that I carry around does too. And this is the cables that I was taking. So a little bit embarrassing to show you, but it's just, in Thai we say your yeah, like it means like tangled load of snakes. I mean, this is, I will admit, this is supplementary cables. I have other cables, but this is the one that I packed, and it's no good. I will definitely consolidate these cables down to a much smaller bag, which actually I've already started to prepare, which is here, a much more organized bag. You want to make sure that you have every cable for charging, of course, and I hate getting caught without a cable. You can buy any cable you want in any 7-Eleven around Thailand, but I just don't like being caught without a cable that I need at a particular time. So that's just some of the considerations, not something other people would think of, but something that I have to think of. So in addition to everything I've said, you're going to want some cash on hand too. We did prepare this last time, so we did have a good amount of cash on hand. You're probably going to want some small denominations as well. What is a good amount of cash? I mean, that's up to you. Like for me, anything less than 30,000 baht I think is probably too little, but it is up to you. Have a little bit of cash on hand. Also, what we didn't prepare last time, which we have done this time, all of the toothbrushes, toothpaste. I told you about a little bit of animal food here. Also some food supplies, so noodles, and just kind of instant food that have long shelf life. Remember as well, when you're on the move, you're checking in a hotel, checking out a hotel, so all this stuff is going to come off the car and go back on the car. It really is better to consolidate. Any of my friends that are into crypto as well, you know the drill as usual, so you make sure that you have everything that you need in regards to that. You know what I'm talking about. I'm also first aid trained as a product of being in the nightclub business in the UK. So that does come in useful as well. Now we do have some smaller pets on the farm. They include a couple of rats that Otis and I saved from Bangkok from being snake food. And so they were like 50 odd baht each, and we saved them both. And so in order to quickly get them out and have them in a decent like enclosure, we use one of these large rat traps. The door just flips open at the front, you can put them in and the door closes and you know they're not going to get out. And then I also have pre-packed in a box the rat food and a water bottle to go in here, and they would stay in here for the remainder of the evacuation. These are very easy to carry around. They're very sturdy, very strong. You know they're not going to get out, and safe for the animal. So that is how we evacuate the rats. And then with Alfie, who's just over there, we're going to get a dog crate so he can be evacuated with us. We are unable to evacuate all the dogs here because there are 10 Thai dogs. What we did last time was I dumped a load of food out on the floor, which obviously not within the rain because the rain will make the food rot, but then I know they have access to the food, and there's generally good access to water around the farm. Now, there are a number of neighbours that refuse to evacuate because of their cows. So they will not leave the cows. The cows are like their bank account. And so if anything happens to the cows, their savings are wiped out. So that includes Damo's uncle, who lives around the corner. He will not leave his cows, and because of this, he's happy also to take care of our pigs, just to feed the pigs and to feed the dogs in this situation. The animal situation across, when it comes to this, especially in the red zone, it's a real difficult situation for some, because a lot of people rely on these animals. A lot of people don't want anything to happen to their animals, of course, and so it is a difficult situation. It's hard to know. The government have said that they will pay for certain animals. If the animals die, they will pay the farmers back. But I can see that obviously you can't transport cows and pigs in the blink of an eye, and a lot of these people, if they have children or grandchildren, because grandma basically takes care of the kids here, they are not going to risk their life for the pigs and the cows when they've got to take care of the grandchildren. Because remember, guys, it's not just about leaving with your kids and you're deserting your farm or you're deserting your animals. If something happens to you as mother, as father, and even as grandmother, the whole line of the family depends on you. So, for instance, if something happens to grandma, mother and father that work in Bangkok to earn the money have a big problem because they have no childcare. If something happens to mum and dad that earn the money, who's going to support the family, you know what I mean? And so in my case, like staying and looking after the house, and by the way, if I didn't have kids, I'd stay with my house and my animals. But what am I jeopardizing by doing that? Well, I'm jeopardizing my kids' financial future, and I mean, all the businesses that we have run through me. If you were to deduct me from the businesses, there is no businesses. So, or at least the revenue potentials are severely limited to maybe 25% of what they actually do now. And so that impacts my family, not just now, but for all of their future. And so many Thais have the same predicament. You leave the animals or risk your life, especially near the red zone. I really don't want to get too much into the minutiae as well, but mosquito repellent came in very handy where we were going, and games and activities for the kids, very important. Even just small things to keep them busy. If you've got kids, something that when you're on the road you wouldn't think about in advance, but when you're on the road, you're like these kids bouncing off the walls, they need something to do. So keeping activities, colouring books, things like that, I think is another important point. Also on the topic of kids, obviously nappies and milk. Keeping some nappies already in the car at all times is fine, I think, and we've got milk packed as well. Just so you're not kind of stopping everywhere getting all this stuff, you can go straight to a hotel or wherever it is you're going, and you can check in straight away and you know you're going to be comfortable at least for a few days before you have to go and get some more supplies. So that's the full breakdown of some of the things that I've learnt and some of the preparations we're making for any future evacuations. Of course, you cannot control everything. There are so many things that are out of your scope of control, that so many eventualities that could come about that you cannot prepare for. And although it may feel like this kind of exercise gives you some control over the situation, it probably doesn't, because there are so many things that could unfold that you just couldn't prepare for. However, for those things that you could prepare for and that you could see or that you did learn from last time, it would be stupid not to act upon those things and prepare better for the next eventuality, especially when some of these things are so small and so menial that it doesn't really take much to do it, and they may enhance your life in other ways as well, like upgrading the back of the car. I think we need that for other things, not just evacuations. In the end, it's all just about keeping the kids safe and being aware and alert of your situation and not naive to the situation. Now that might mean that I am perceived in a certain way, like over the top or something, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. You're right. That's what it's all about. See, guys, it's about them. They rely on you. We've got another one of them here. Hi. I can't go. So being prepared, that's what it's all about, guys. So I think that's it for this vlog, guys, and I'm going to run through this rain now and get back to the back to the room. And I hope you find it interesting. Please add below your other bits of insights, because I know there's a lot of people that prep on this channel. Some of the things I probably have done but I've not mentioned, but there's always something else that you've missed, you know what I mean? So take care, guys.